for a review hearing, and I'm sure permanency planning as well, given the age of the case. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Ms. Tasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Burgess, can you please put your name on the record?
Yes, Brenda Burgess, foster care worker.
Michael Brooks, I represent the mother, Amanda Brayman.
Amanda Brayman, mom.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here on behalf of Father Todd Knapp.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp, I don't see Mr. Knapp here. I don't have him logged in either. Ms. Berger, have you heard from your client?
I have not, Your Honor.
All right, would you like to remain for purposes of today's hearing? Or would you like to be excused?
If the court is agreeable, I would be excused.
Well, I've allowed the release of other attorneys on a case-by-case, hearing-by-hearing basis if their clients are not here, given how difficult it is to communicate with a client who has not appeared. Do you share those concerns?
I do, Your Honor.
Any objections?
None.
I have no objection.
All right, you're welcome to stay or go however you see fit, Ms. Berger.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's get to it then. Ms. Heiss.
Thank you, Your Honor. This child has had a change recently, and she had elevated and escalated mental health needs, which were attended to, and she is now in a institutional setting. However, she has been in foster care, and she has been doing overnights with her mother, a lot of overnights. I saw her in person with her wraparound team, and it is fascinating to watch life slow down. And they take one bit of information at a time and talk it through. And both Amanda Brayman and this child were very engaged in the meeting. So I think that we are at a plateau where this is the success that we're going to have in this case. The agency is looking for to put Z back at home, and I don't disagree with that. They participate with the services that they can. You know, we still have this one therapist indicating that, just a minute here. A provider of the mother's choice, I believe, indicating that, you know, we're still mother is still being dismissive about her role in the situation, and that it's still recommending that she continues psychotherapy. But, you know, it's to work on time management skills, emotional expression, and regulation skills. So I don't think we're anticipating closing the case because I think we need to monitor those things while the child is having her visits. It's interesting too then that CMH has a different diagnosis, but maybe it's just different people are working on different parts of mother's needs. So, you know, I was not involved in this last event that changed last week. I went to the next CMH wraparound meeting and nobody was there. It was because they were all attending, it may have been moved otherwise, but they were all attending to this child's suicidal ideations and elevated mental health treatment. And so I would ask you to consider that the agency at that point was asking for replacement of the child with the mom. And I'm not sure if they're going to stay with that today. So I would like to hold my recommendation based on these new events. Thank you.
Very well. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. If Ms. Burgess can please be sworn in. Thank you. Ms. Burgess, you have prepared a court report for today's hearing, correct?
Correct.
And this hearing got adjourned, so it's, there's been a few weeks since the time you drafted it and submitted it. Are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to it?
One would be Z's psychiatric mental health treatment. And the I think it was Monday, the 25th, she was taken to Herrick for some suicidal ideation and evaluated. And on last Tuesday, she was admitted to White Pines, where she is now. And I anticipate it being a short treatment stay, but I haven't had any updates from the facility.
And during this well, let me just back up real quick. Your court report, the cover page indicates that there are a few documents included, which would be the case service plan for the parents, then a Highfields report, a letter from CMH, and behavior reports from the middle school. Are there any other documents that have been circulated since you've provided this report?
No.
And during this review period, how would you describe the parents' level of compliance with and benefit from their case service plans?
Ms. Brayman has been cooperating. She has cared for Z in her home 5 days per week.
A substantial risk of harm if Z were to return to mom's care and custody full time outside of the current hospital stay?
Yes, I think we have reduced the risk. One thing that has changed is that Amanda or Ms. Brayman has reconnected with a friend who is been authorized to do community living supports with Z through CMH, and she has been a support. I think she's there in the courtroom now. She's been providing transportation and doing things with the family. So that is a change since the last report period. If Z returns home, she'll continue to have her CMH services, including the SED waiver services, which includes the in-home therapy and the CLS supportive services.
In all of those services, let me, I guess, clarify, are you asking the court to also release jurisdiction?
No.
Okay, and so we would sort of just move towards in-home jurisdiction for this family?
Yes.
Okay, and continue with the case service plan? Okay. During this review period, are there any specific updates you would like to highlight from your court report for the court's attention?
Not that I can think of. I do know that, Amanda has a hard time trusting. I do know that she trusts her wraparound facilitator. And I know, Amanda will continue to want the supportive services. I think she's always wanted that support, and those supports are, I would say, more in place now.
And then as it relates to Z, is there any concern about like the increase or the, I guess, kind of going back and forth between the two homes and behavioral issues at school, or has everything been status quo, I guess?
So she has had behavioral issues in school. We've had an IEP meeting, and the school states that those behaviors have been greatly reduced since last year, but that she does have some continued behaviors.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions of Ms. Burgess, so I move to admit the court report at this time.
Objections?
No, I have no objection.
I have no objection.
Thank you. It was received as well as the exhibits. Cross-examination, Mr. Brooks.
Ms. Burgess, if there is one, what is the diagnosis for the child in this matter, Z?
She has some depression and anxiety and behavioral issues that she's being treated for through CMH.
No specific diagnosis.
Yes, I could list those. I put that in my court report.
All right, but we don't have to repeat it now.
Okay.
All right. Are they getting effectively treated?
Yes, I believe so.
I suppose the better question would be, can they be effectively treated?
Yes, Z has been on the same medications for a period of time. We just recently had a med review in March, and there were no medication changes. I don't know if her current hospitalization will change any of those medications or not.
Thank you, that's all.
Ms. Heiss?
Ms. Burgess, in your IEP work, or have you gotten a sense of whether Z will be promoted to high school next year?
Yes, she will.
Is the placement, foster care placement available for continued care if the judge does not put Z with her biological parent today?
I believe at least on a short-term basis.
Do you know if that placement and the mother, Ms. Freeman, are willing to work together so that Z can continue to participate in some of the extracurricular activities she's been in?
Yes, I believe so. I know foster mom has offered, Z has been in Girl Scouts, and that has been offered for her to continue. And then since foster mom works at the school or with the school system, I believe that we can work some of those things out so that she could continue to participate in track.
The court report is a little confusing. Will you tell me your final analysis, if you have one, about Mr. Murphy being in the home? Do you have a settled opinion about whether that happened or not?
All I know is that, it was reported that he was in the home. Ms. Brayman denies that he was in the home. Ms. Brayman has reported to me that his girlfriend has continued to contact her, even though she's tried to block her from social media, and believes that, I don't know, she either believed that he was in the home or was trying to stir up trouble. And Ms. Brayman, I feel, acted appropriately when this was reported again. She called the police and also called her wraparound coordinator to come to the home to determine that he was not in the home.
Okay.
Throughout the case, I have not have known her to have any contact with him.
Okay, and you're still recommending in-home jurisdiction today, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Can we redirect? I have nothing, Your Honor. Okay, anyone else you'd like us to hear from? No, Your Honor. Mr. Brooks?
I don't see any need to call my client. The report says it all.
Thank you. Ms. Heiss?
May I ask Z, do you want to talk to the judge today?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, let's just tell her a little bit about how you're doing. First, we have to get you sworn. Wait a minute. Okay, Z, can you see me?
Yes,
Okay, so you remember I'm your guardian ad litem, right?
yes,
Okay, you had a hard week last week, right?
yes,
Did your mom and Miss Burgess and other folks take good care of you when you weren't feeling well?
yes.
Tell me what your mom did that helped you.
Well, which one are you talking about? Foster mom or regular mom?
Regular mom.
So she came into the hospital took me out to the ambulance, went to check on brother and caseworker. The caseworker took Zion and followed the ambulance down to the hospital here. Mom rode in the ambulance with me. I've been making calls to her every time I have a call time. I've been making calls to her except in the morning. She's been pretty decent with the calls. She's been answering the phone calls. She's not been rude and disrespectful. She's been pretty good with the phone calls. She's been answering them. She signed me in. She said even herself, if she had a ride, she would have came and saw me on Saturday. My Aunt Tony even said that if my mom contacted my Aunt Tony could have brought her up here. But my mom didn't contact Aunt Tony, and my Aunt Tony could have watched Zion.
Okay, so Aunt Tony is this new person that is helping mom and you in the household and going to
Yes.
meetings with you guys, helping with transportation.
Yes.
Okay. It sounds like what you told me is that you really want to stay with mom full time. Is that right?
Yes.
Is it still true, even though last week was different?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, you've been spending a lot of overnights at mom's house, right?
Yes.
And Aunt Tony helped you like organize your bedroom and all that kind of stuff,
Yes.
kind of?
Yeah. We've
Okay.
been slowly working on it.
Do you have everything you need at your mom's house?
Yes.
Are you getting along okay with your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of consequences have you had at mom's house?
One day I had my phone, I got in trouble at school, I got my phone shut off for 30 minutes. One time, and then I even asked for the 30 minutes to be my phone shut off. I asked for it, and she turned off my phone for 30 seconds or 30 minutes, and then I got my phone turned back on.
Okay, go ahead.
That's like one of the fundamentals. I don't think there's been any other ones unless mom can think of one that she's done.
Have you done any reacting to mom, like pushing her or any kind of physical action
Nope.
towards mom?
Nope.
You have a lot of tools to use now to calm yourself down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even at school, were you still taking that toy to school with you that made you calm?
Yes.
Yeah. And you have you're working with Margaret about
Yes.
tools to calm down.
Yep.
Will you'll continue to participate in with your wraparound and with Margaret, even if
Yep.
you moved home, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Has Mr. Murphy been around, Terry?
No, he has not.
Okay. And then with regard, you were going to say something about foster mom. It sounds like she's going to, if judge puts you home, she's going to continue to support you. Do you think that's true?
Fine.
Yeah. Are they talking about when you'll be released up there?
They said maybe the middle of this week, maybe, or Thursday. But they said maybe possibly by the weekend, possibly.
Okay, you feeling better?
Yes.
What, do you know what happened last week that got you off balance?
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. All right, do you have a plan for when lots of stuff happens that we can work through it?
I really don't know if there's really a plan.
Do you think hurting yourself is an option for dealing with your stress?
No,
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk to Judge about? Anything she's listening, what do you want to say?
I just hope I can come home because I miss being home and I miss being with my family. And I know my family really misses me and wants me back. And sometimes I know my mom needs me, and I know sometimes my brother needs me. And my mom needs me when she's sick and she can't take care of my brother fully. I will definitely help her on that. And I know I've improved. I know I've been improving, and I know I can improve more, but I know I've improved in some ways.
Very good. That's something to be real proud of, isn't it?
And I know I made mistakes in the past, but there's been some stuff in the past where I was really not doing okay, but I know I've improved. I know I've got better, and I know I want to go home now, and I know I want to be at home in the environment where me and my mom are together and doing better. Because I know me and my mom have been better and doing better than in the past. I really miss my brother, and I really want to be home with my brother before he gets too old and I don't get to be there full time.
All right. Thank you for talking today, okay? All right. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Any questions? No, Your Honor.
I have none.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. All right, anyone else you'd like us to hear from?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, comments then?
Thank you, Judge. At this time, we are still requesting that when Z is released from the hospital, she's allowed to go home, to her home environment and continue this for another review period with in-home jurisdiction, just to ensure the family has that stability, and the supports remain in place. I know that the last review period, we were really hoping to transition to that reunification, but there were some regressive behaviors that we were noticing, and it seems like in this review period, those are no longer present. The school has indicated that the behaviors that they're seeing are significantly reduced from last year, and it sounds like there's also additional supports that this family has utilized and deepened their relationship with during this review period. So for those reasons, we are asking the court to allow Z to go home and to set this for a 90-day review. Thank you.
In your opinion, obviously in-home jurisdiction is a little bit different than a regular jurisdiction. Would you want more than 3 months? We're getting into a time frame where that late June, early July is going to be pretty busy. So I could knock it out a few weeks or even a month or two. I think if it's in home, then you go up to 6 months.
Yeah, after the first review, we have up to 6 months. I think that looking into August would be appropriate, if not September, but I think right before school starts, it would be really good to just make sure that everything's still in place and school can re-begin without any issue.
Your thoughts, Mr. Brooks, on that point? And of course, any other comments?
Well, I'm reminded of the title of a Jack Nicholson movie, As Good as It Gets. This is a tough case. Life is never going to be perfect in this house, or any house, I suppose, but this is as good as it gets. And I think the court and its support staff succeeded here. And I support what's being proposed.
Ms. Heiss?
I have no closing comments. Thank you.
All right, and I trust that if you had any comments on the request for a review in August, you'd let me know.
Yes, Your Honor, I think it's okay to elongate that review period. I think it's best for the family, and then we could look at closing jurisdiction maybe at that time because everybody's going to be doing so well.
Very good. So I have August 13th.
August 13th.
Yes, and let's set it at 11 a.m. That works. And we'll just call that a regular review hearing. Court finds all parties were given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. The goal of adoption, or I'm sorry, the goal of
Oh, yeah, you're
solicitation.
going to get that order.
Did you have a question?
She wants to know when she's gonna get an order that shows that she gets this child back.
I'll have it at the end of today's hearing, in just a few minutes after I've
All right.
concluded my comments.
Okay.
Okay. So the goal of reunification in this case is appropriate. It's well supported by the testimony that we had from Ms. Brenda Burgess. Our guardian ad litem is also in support of that, as well as reunification of this child in the home of her parent, Ms. Amanda Bremen. I am going to, given the extensive absence that Mr. Todd Knapp has had from review hearings and from the life of this child, I'm going to suspend his ability to contact this child. I think that's a piece that I don't want to introduce into this context moving forward. I want you to be as supported as possible in the home of your mother. I also want to see, I know I noticed in the CMH letter, Ms. Bremen, you're going to be transitioning to a different mental health professional for counseling services. So there's going to be lots of changes for this family in the next few months. And it will be absolutely imperative that the continued support of the department, as well as CMH and some of the other service providers that have been arranged and have stepped out to help this family remain in place in order to help Zara be as successful as possible and Ms. Bremen be as successful as possible. So please continue to do everything that both of you need to do in order to try to make this work. And if you practice something for about 90 days, they say it takes in order to actually change your patterns. I'm sure you've heard that, you're nodding. So you'll have to really double down on your efforts to practice your good patterns so that you can be supports for each other in this next time frame. So needless to say, the department has satisfied its obligations for reasonable efforts towards reunification. Ms. Heiss is in satisfaction per obligations. Thank you also to our advocates, as usual, for organizing and advocating for the best interest of the child, as well as each of your clients. So the child's placement will be changed to reside with her mother in the next review period once she's able to be released from her hospitalization stay there. And we'll review the case on August 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning. I will have the order out in just a few minutes, but I do think that is the safest and least restrictive, as I've heard the case presented today for our next time to review. Unless there's any questions, that's all.